Today I'm sharing all about how to make your clothes last longer. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, welcome. My name is Tamela, and here on this channel we are all about style and confidence at any size. So if you like the video and you like what you see, then be sure to stick around and subscribe for more. We would love to have you guys join a part of our little family, and don't forget to hit the bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. Like I said before, today I'm going to be sharing all about how to make your clothes last longer. So if y'all are interested in seeing that, then just keep watching. So we are going to go ahead and jump right into the video with the first and what I think is the most obvious tip, and that is to buy higher quality clothing. Quality is always going to be more important than quantity, and that is even if you're just going to be investing in the basics. So maybe a nice pair of jeans, a nice pair of casual shoes you can wear with a ton of outfits, a really great white t-shirt, whatever that is for you, because that's going to differ depending on your lifestyle and your personal style and all of those things. So for example, if you work in an office setting, it's probably not on your agenda to get a really nice pair of jeans, but you maybe want a really nice pair of work pants or a blazer if that's where most of your clothing spending is going, is towards your work wardrobe. So whatever that is, you're just going to want to invest in even just some basic pieces that you can mix and match and pair in a ton of different ways. And another great way to do this if you're on a budget and you just don't want to spend a ton of money investing in those pieces is to buy them secondhand. You can always go to in-person places like Goodwill and different things like that. I do not like the digging, honestly. That is just not my thing. I do not like digging for things, but I find out places like Poshmark and Mercari and I think the other one is Depop. Those can also be really great places to buy secondhand and not have to do so much of that digging, and really to be able to look particularly what you're actually searching for. The next tip is going to be to protect your clothing, and you can do this in a couple of different ways. One of the ways that I think is the most important, that I literally have never done, but I just invested in something to do this with, is wearing an apron when you cook. I am terrible about this. 98% of the stains that I get on my clothes are grease stains from when I am cooking. And it is the most annoying thing because I do it all the time. I'm cooking, and mid-cooking I'm like, I should probably change my shirt. And I'm like, nah, I'm probably good. And then the second I do that, I literally get a stain on it. So it's something I deal with all the time. And I actually recently invested in an apron, and I'm super excited about it because I used to think aprons were like whack. I was like, why are people wearing aprons? But those people are the people that don't have grease stains all over their clothes, Tamela. So if you're like me and you have a trouble with that, definitely get an apron, or obviously change your clothes when you get home. My thing is, if I have something to do later in that day, I usually don't want to change out of my clothes, and I would usually rather just keep them on. That's just me. Maybe you want to change and then change back. If you want to do that, more power to you, sis. But if you're going to be home and stay home, then I'll definitely change into what I call like my house clothes, like t-shirts, shorts, leggings, all that kind of a thing. But if you're needing to protect your clothes in the meantime, especially if you're going to be in the kitchen, cooking, baking, washing dishes, even whatever that is, definitely suggest wearing an apron. Moving right along into our next tip, it is to immediately treat your stains, because the longer you let a stain sit there, the harder it's going to be to get out. And since we were just talking about being in the kitchen and having grease stains, my favorite thing to remove grease stains is actually Blue Dawn dish soap. My mama swears by it, my mom swears by it, I swear by it. It gets grease stains not only out of really any fabric generally, but especially out of your clothing. It has been one of the few things that really gets those stuck on grease stains out, even if I didn't treat it till hours later, which I do not recommend. But if you just end up in that predicament, Blue Dawn will usually do the trick. And I also try to keep a stain stick or a pen, whatever you want to call that, handy whenever I can. I don't really carry a purse all that often, so I keep it in my car, and then I keep one in the junk drawer in the house. And I just try to treat it whenever I can. Now, I'm not saying, leave work to treat your stain, but as soon as you get home or whenever you get that soonest chance, try to treat that stain, because it's going to help you get the longevity out of your clothes and remove those stains as soon as you can. And you also want to follow up with washing them as soon as you can after that. My next tip is to not overwash your clothing. This is something that we can overlook really easily and do a lot of the time, and things like denim, sweaters, your coats, just different things like that, they do not need to be washed after every wear. Now, obviously, if they are smelly, you sweat in them, like especially like workout clothes, like, you can wash those. Like if you spill something on them, anything like that, you obviously want to throw those into the wash. But if those things aren't the case, they do not need to be washed after every wear. As a matter of fact, washing them after every wear, you're overwashing them, and you're going to make them fade and break down quicker. Those fibers in the clothing are going to break down, and when you get like different holes in your clothing and stuff like that, that's because those fibers are just breaking down quicker and quicker. And overwashing overwashing them is going to speed up that process, and especially with denim, it is going to make your denim fade so much quicker. So just be mindful of what you're doing with that, and don't overwash your clothing. And if you're going to wear that clothing again, don't just leave it like in a pile on the floor or mix it with your dirty clothes, because then we're back to the same spot, everything stinks, and then we have to wash it. So just make sure to kind of put it back up on a hanger after you're done wearing it so that it stays fresh. And with that, you also don't want to overstuff your washing machine. If you're filling your washing machine as full as you can get it, your clothes are not being washed properly. And at that point, you are not only overwashing them, but you're just getting them wet and filled with fragrance. They're not actually being washed, which totally defeats the purpose. When you have so many clothes in there, it makes it hard for your washer to actually agitate and do its job, and the soap can't get in between all of the things, and your clothes are not actually being washed. You're just repeatedly rinsing them, and it's not doing you a whole lot of good. So definitely be mindful of that when you're doing your laundry, and to not overstuff your washing machine. My next tip is to button and zip your clothing before you throw it in the washing machine, and I have like an asterisk, like especially zip. Zippers snag on everything super easily, and especially even having buttons, I find straps of things can get wrapped around the buttons. So when you button and zip things, it's going to prevent that snagging and that hooking and the pulling, and it's not going to stretch out your clothes or like put pulls in your fabrics, which is so annoying. How many times have you reached in the dryer after you've washed your laundry, you've dried it, and you realize you have a huge pull in like a sweater or something? It's like the most annoying thing. So just be mindful to take a couple extra seconds to button and zip things as you throw them into the washer. My next tip is to wash your clothes inside out and on the coldest setting on your washer. Washing them inside out is going to actually help preserve the colors of your clothing over a longer length of time, and the same is true for washing it on cold. It's going to keep those colors preserved and help them stay over a longer length of time. But along with that, when you wash them on cold, it's going to prevent them from shrinking. So those fabrics and those fibers are not going to get so hot and tend to shrink, and it's going to help keep the shape of your clothing a whole lot better. My next tip is to hang dry your clothes, and I definitely have not always been the best at that. Especially over this last year, I've tried to get a little bit better at hang drying things more and more, and right now I probably hang dry about 50% of my clothing and put the other 50% in the dryer. But I used to be a throw it all in the dryer and go kind of a gal, and like I said, over this year I've definitely tried to change that and help preserve the life of my clothes a little bit longer. But the tumbling process in a dryer is super rough. It is going to dull the colors in your clothes, they're going to fade quicker, and it's going to like change and tug and pull at the overall shape of your garment. So tumbling really can be super rough, and if you can avoid it, I would definitely recommend that. But if you have to use the dryer, then try turning your dryer on a lower temperature. It is going to need to tumble a little bit longer, but it's going to be a lot gentler on those colors and fibers and fabrics. And my last and final tip is actually an exception to our previous tip of hanging your clothes up to dry, and it is folding your heavier pieces. So your pieces like your sweaters, sweatshirts, anything that's a little bit heavier, you're going to want to fold it when it's dry, but also when it's not dry and you're trying to dry it, lay it flat to dry. So instead of actually putting it on a hanger, you're going to want to lay it flat, and then when you're done, you're just going to want to fold it up and put it in a drawer in your closet or wherever you put your folded clothes, because over time when you hang those heavier pieces on hangers, it's going to stretch out the neckline and the shoulders of your sweater, sweatshirt, whatever it is. And honestly, I've also found that it even like bends my hangers over time and ruins my hangers. So just keep that in mind. If you have heavier pieces, you're going to want to lay them somewhere on a flat surface to dry, and then fold them up so you're not stretching all of the neck and the shoulders out. So that is how to make your clothing last longer. Thank y'all so much for watching, and as always, leave a comment down below and let me know which one of these tips that you guys didn't know about you're going to start using. I tried to pick tips that were easier for you to incorporate into your everyday life and your clothing that you already have, and just kind of help extend the longevity of that. So I really hope that this was helpful, and I hope that y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already. And I will see you guys in the next one.
Lucky, lucky, lucky me. Lucky, lucky, lucky me.